Hey there, fellow history buffs and nature lovers. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are in Martinez, California, at a special place that many people don't even know exists, the home of John Muir, perhaps America's greatest conservationist and the father of our national parks. You might know John Muir from places like Yosemite and Sequoia National Park, popular places he helped protect for future generations, or from the famous John Muir Trail in the Sierra Nevadas. But did you know you can actually visit his home, see where he wrote his influential books, and even visit his final resting place? Let's go explore the home and final resting place of the famous naturalist, John Muir. This beautiful Victorian farmhouse is where John Muir lived for the last 24 years of his life, from 1890 until his death in 1914. Now I know what you're thinking. Wait, I thought John Muir was all about the wilderness. What's he doing in this fancy house? Well, there's a love story here. Muir married Muir-Strentzel, the daughter of a successful fruit rancher. While Muir was passionate about exploring the wilderness, he also needed to support his family. So he settled here and helped manage his father-in-law's orchard for about 10 years. These grounds are beautiful. They take really good care of them. So he inherited this house from his father-in-law, who had quite a big fruit orchard.
So does this guy.
I don't see the sequoia tree that he planted. It was supposed to, well, I see a redwood right there, so maybe that's it. John Muir planted a giant sequoia in his yard, the same type of sequoia he was so passionate in saving. He brought a sapling from the Sierra Nevadas and planted it onto the property around 1885. He wanted to inspire others and make the grandeur of these trees accessible to those who might not be able to visit the mountains. While he cared for the tree, Muir understood the climate of Martinez was different from the Sierra Nevadas. With hotter, drier summers, he still planted the tree and hoped it would thrive. The tree grew to over 70 feet tall and lived for over 120 years. Ultimately, however, the sequoia could not overcome the environmental mismatch. After 130 to 150 years, it has succumbed to the lack of consistent moisture, unstable soil, and warmer temperatures. It struggled and eventually declined, illustrating the delicate balance these trees require to thrive, a balance that cannot easily be recreated outside their native home. And unfortunately, the sequoia that he planted is dying. It's just not doing well here in the Bay Area because this is not the climate that's indigenous for giant sequoias. And I was told it has a fungus that's killing it. They've cloned it, and the saplings of the cloning are in Michigan right now, going to be big sequoias. But think about it, this is over 100 years old when he planted this. So it's sad that something he planted is passing. The National Park Service now preserves Muir's house and legacy, offering tours to the house and grounds. What's fascinating is how this place shows us a different side of Muir than the wild mountain man we often imagine. Here we see him as a family man, a working farmer, and a writer whose words changed the nation. Muir applied the same careful observation to agriculture that he did to wilderness, making the ranch highly successful while still finding time to fight the conservation cause. John Muir once wrote, "The mountains are calling, and I must go." But it was here, in this house in Martinez, that he found the stability to translate his wilderness experience into words that would inspire generations of Americans to protect our national treasures. This is original to the house. And so is this. Everything else is just period furniture, but these and this are original.
So, Hetchy Valley.
Before they dammed it?
Hetchy Valley dammed.
Yeah.
You can kind of get a good idea of where the waterfalls are
Right.
as to the pictures.
So he tried to stop this. So for those of you not familiar with the Hetchy, it's a bone of contention. This is Yosemite National Park. And this is a valley that used to exist that without water, just like Yosemite Valley further down the way. And they dammed it to provide water for the Bay Area. And this is what it looked like before it was dammed. You could see it had waterfalls and everything. This is after the dam. John Muir really tried to stop this. And there's still some waterfalls coming down.
Well, that's what fills it.
Yeah, exactly. It's just, you can go like right here and take pictures, and it's very heartbreaking. Breaks my heart every time I go into the park and see this. But this is where the magic happened. The second floor room is where Muir wrote most of his books and articles that would change Americans' relationship with nature forever. It's where he penned letters to presidents and congressmen fighting to protect wilderness areas like Yosemite. From these windows, Muir could see Mount Wanda, named after his daughter, where he would take evening walks with his children, teaching them about nature. That area is now part of this historic site too, and you can hike the same trails the Muir family enjoyed. So he used to call this his scribble room, and this is where he wrote. And the docent was telling us that this is his original desk where he wrote all his famous documents. So fittingly on his desk, he's got pine cones, and this long one, I'm pretty sure is a sequoia. I'm pretty sure that's sequoia. When you grow up in California, John Muir is quite a hero to Californians. He saved a lot of nature and lands here in California, amongst the United States also. So, is it this book? This book's her recipe book?
Yeah, you got it right on this side.
Yeah. And he was visiting her down in Los Angeles when he died of pneumonia. And they brought him back here to be buried in the family cemetery, which we'll go up and take a look at. So the docent was telling us that downstairs, the windows were blown out in the parlor after a great explosion that happened just down the way from here at there was an explosion at the Chicago base, and the repercussion from it was so great that it blew the windows out. And then the house also suffered some damage from the 1906 earthquake in San Francisco. We're not far out of San Francisco. A couple of the fireplaces had to be replaced. So let's go upstairs. Supposedly you can go up and ring the bell. I'm going up into the attic. This is so cool. John Muir's attic. How cool is this?
Changeling.
So they use it for storage now.
So if you open this up, it's gonna cool air out.
I don't know. All of a sudden the light went out.
Got a removable towel.
So you can go up to the tower here. Now let's talk about something many visitors find surprising, John Muir's gravesite, which isn't actually on the main property of this historical site. Just about a quarter mile away from the main house is the Strentzel Muir Family Cemetery. This small plot contains the grave of John Muir, his wife Louise, his father-in-law, Dr. John Strentzel, and other family members. But here is the interesting part. This cemetery isn't managed by the National Park Service, like the rest of the Muir property. Instead, it's owned and maintained by the Muir-Hanna Trust, descendants of John Muir. So it's kind of bizarre getting to the gravesite. It's all fenced off, and it's this island, basically, within a pretty tight community. There's houses in people's backyards, literally like right here. And this is this little island. To get to the gate, it looks like it's locked with this combination lock, but you can get in. They must lock it up at night. But you literally pull into this guy's driveway to get to it. Don't follow Google. Google takes you to a place where you can't get in here at all. I used the coordinates that were on findagrave.com, and it totally took me to the wrong side where you can't get in. Listen to what the park rangers tell you to take. You come up Sheridan. You can't park in front. You have to park down the street and walk in. Otherwise you're parking in this guy's driveway. So this used to be part of the farm. It's miles down the road. So when we look at this, there's John and his wife, his in-laws, his daughter Wanda and her husband and their kids. So let's take a look. So here's John right here. Louise, his wife, his daughter and her family, and then his in-laws. The Muir-Strentzel Ranch once covered 2,600 acres, though today the historical site preserves just 14 acres. But even in this small parcel, you get a sense of how Muir balanced his conservation work with practical ranch management. He modernized the orchards while keeping his eye on larger goals, protecting America's wild places.